Hello, fellow subscribers. I'm up to 37 now? It's awesome. One Amazing Elephant, pages 92 to 104. Nobody deserves to be hurt, not even an elephant. Grandma Violet has set Queenie Grace free. Now go put away those chains, she says to Mike. She's breathing hard, chest heaving. I hope she doesn't have a heart attack, too. Put them away now, and I never want to see them again, Grandma says. Mike picks up the chain, slinks into the little pink shed. We can hear the throwing down clinking sounds from here. If metal has the ability to sound angry, it's doing it now. My grandma is still ferocious, fuming, lips a thin line and her brow furrowed. My tiny grandma brims full of old lady fury. She has her own personal storm cloud hanging over her head. Should we tell her? I ask Henry Jack about what Mike did. He shakes his head. Not yet. Let her calm down first. We'll check it out. No use getting her all worked up if it didn't even happen. Grandma stomps inside, and I swear you can see fire flaming from her eyes. Queenie Grace just stands there, trunk swaying, as if she's feeling awkward about the whole mess. I can hear you breathing, Henry Jack says, wheezing. It's from the running, I explain. My asthma kicks up when I run, or when I get super tired or upset or stressed. I pull my ever-present inhaler from my pocket, take a puff, hold it in, blow it out. There, all better. No more whistle. I wish everything was that simple to fix. Oh, it's not always that simple. A couple of times when it was bad, I actually had to go to the ER. This one time, I had to stay overnight and wear a hospital gown and get an IV. That stinks, says Henry Jack. I've been in the hospital too. Can't stand that place. I shrug. That's life. Mike sulks inside, and Henry Jack and I decide it's time to check out Queenie Grace. Or at least Henry Jack will check her out. I'm not getting that close, not yet. I stay back a couple of cautious yards and watch as Henry Jack leans in to peer closely at the elephant's skin. He reaches out with his index finger and grazes it, and I can tell from here that the touch is barely there, so gentle. He looks back at me and shakes his head, biting his lip, and then he nods. Yep, he says. It's a burn, all right. Little circle, like the tip of a cigarette. Henry Jack strides back to me, and I can tell he's bubbling over with hot fury, too. He makes a fist with one hand and punches the open palm of his other hand. Bam, he says. That guy Mike. How could somebody do that? People do the craziest things, says Henry Jack. Humans are actually worse than animals. What are we going to do, I ask. Shouldn't we tell my grandma? I think we should wait, says Henry Jack. Right after somebody dies isn't a great time to hear bad news like that. I'm worried that Violet's feeling too stressed, and this would just be one more thing. Yeah, I agreed. She is really stressed. I'm kind of scared that she might have a heart attack, like my grandpa did. That actually occurred to me, too. So then what are we going to do? Come with me to my place, Henry Jack replies. I need that Mahout book I told you about. I don't know how to treat a burn, but we'll find out. And what are we going to do about Mike? I ask as we hurry together across the yards. The three little dogs are yipping again, and it's getting hotter by the minute. I have to keep reminding myself that this is Christmas Day. That's way strange when you forget a holiday because you're in a place with people who just don't feel like celebrating. I don't even know what to say about Mike, Henry Jack replies. He's a dirtbag, and I'm not sure what to do about dirtbags. We need to figure out a plan to get rid of him, I guess. Don't you have a book about that? I ask. We both laugh, and that's how I know we're becoming good friends. Because that combo laugh says without words, I get it. We're in this together. Henry Jack's trailer is a nice double wide with lots of colorful pictures on the wooded panel walls. It smells shiny and clean, like somebody was just super house cleaning with lots of Pine Sol and Pledge and Windex. The air conditioner hums. Feels great in here. I like your house, I say. It's a home, Henry Jack replies. Just me and my mom, but we fill it up just right. My favorite time is December when we get to stay here in one place all month long. All the other months we travel in a motorhome, just like your grandparents did. Is your mom in the circus too? Yeah, she's a girl on the flying trapeze, he says, just like your mom. Trulia, you can call her Trulia. I do. A lady floats gracefully out of one of the rooms. She's pretty, hair like black licorice, shimmery, dark eyes, tan skin. She's thin yet strong looking with muscles in her arms and legs. Hi, she says. You must be Lily, Bill's granddaughter. I'm Faith, Henry Jack's mom. I am so sorry about your grandpa, honey. We were all so fond of him. Me too, I say. Faith walks, or rather glides, down the hall. Her walk is like flying, all graceful and smooth, as if she didn't even have feet. Nice to meet you, she says. Bill always talked about you, how much he adored you and wished he could see you more often. I nod, feeling awkward. So, what's up? Asks Faith. She reaches out to Henry Jack and pushes back a bunch of his floppy black hair, and then she lets her fingers rest on his head for a few seconds. It's as if she can hardly let go of him. I wish I had a mom like that. Well, we just need to check something out in one of my books, replies Henry Jack. Plus, get my sunburn stuff. Okay, she says. Be sure not to get sunburned, sweetie. Lily, you are in my prayers. Thank you, I say. I think it's an honor to be in somebody's prayers. Faith floats off down the hallway, and I follow Henry Jack into his bedroom. The walls are covered with posters from old circus sideshows, and there are bunk beds. Why do you have a bunk bed? I ask. Are there two of you? Right after I say it, I get this sinking feeling. Remember what he'd said about his brother. Used to be, Henry Jack replies. Remember I told you I was one of the twins with alligator skin? Well, I really was a twin. I had a brother, identical, 1 minute older than me. His name was Jeremy Zach, and he died when we were 11. I'm sorry. I never knew anybody who lost a brother. It's okay, says Henry Jack. He was really sick a lot, in pain, all that, so I know he's in a better place, like they say. Are you sick a lot and in pain too? Only if I get sunburned, Henry Jack says. The sun is my worst enemy. That's sad, I say. Sunshine is usually such a happy thing. Henry Jack shrugs. I used to be mad about everything, like I was ticked off about our dad, our disease, mom having to work so hard all the time. But then something happened that made me change. Well, what happened? I asked. Henry Jack looks around as if he's closing his eyes, clenching his teeth, and reaching deep into a scary memory. Jeremy Zach got sick, he says. Really sick, like his skin got worse and worse and worse, until there was hardly anything left of him, almost nothing left to protect him from the world. It actually felt like I was looking at a ghost, the ghost of my brother. And that didn't make you even madder? Well, yeah, at first, says Henry Jack. I was mad at the world. But one day, Jeremy Zach said 7 words that changed everything. He said, "You're only hurting yourself. Get over it." Henry Jack swallows hard. He looks up at me. Those were some of his last words right before he died. Wow. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, so those words, they changed everything. All of a sudden, I started seeing the good side of things. And believe it or not, everything, even bad stuff, has something good included. It really does. I play this little game with myself when I try to find the good things. I call it the bright side. Want me to teach you how to play? Sure. Okay. Give me something bad, something you don't like in your life. My mom left. The good. You got even closer to your dad, says Henry Jack. Give me another one. I have asthma. The good. You learn to appreciate breathing. Not everybody does, you know. Give me another. I have weird hair. The good. Your hair makes you unique. Not many people have pure red hair, you know. Like maybe you could even get a part in some movie playing the part of an Irish girl. And then, next thing you know, you might be filming in Ireland, getting paid for it, seeing a cool new place, and all because of that red hair you hate. See how it works? Yeah, I say, I guess. The bright side is always there, says Henry Jack. Even when it's hiding, it's still there. Like my bright side of having the skin condition is that I get to be in the circus. So, do you actually like working in the circus? I'm not going to say this to Henry Jack, but it seems to me that it's mean to put a kid with a skin condition in a sideshow. Although his mom seems anything but mean. I don't like working in the circus, says Henry Jack. I love working in the circus. It's definitely the bright side of being a freak. So it doesn't bother you being called a freak? Nah, says Henry Jack. It's just all part of the act. Goes along with the job. Plus, I do other stuff than just being seen for my skin. Like I do things with monkeys that I train to count. Cool. So, how long have you been working in the circus? Well, it was our idea, mine and Jeremy Zach's, to be the twins with alligator skin. We were 9 years old when we came up with our plan, Henry Jack explains. Mom didn't really want us to do that, but we were in the mood for something to do. Plus, we wanted to help make some money. Well, I say, I guess that's a good point. If I could make money with this stupid asthma, I'd go for it. Yep, says Henry Jack. And with me not having a dad, it's good to help Mom with the bills. Well, where's your dad? I ask. "Hmm, who knows, says Henry Jack. He shrugs. Never met him, but that's okay. I have enough dads, anyway, right here in Gibtown. Like your Grandpa Bill. He was like a dad to me. My grandpa was a lot of things to a lot of people, I say. He was like five guys in one. Henry Jack grins. He goes to a shelf filled with books. He pulls one out and holds it like a treasure. It's thick and red, and the front cover is beaten up like it's been loved. Here it is, he says. This is the book your grandpa gave me. We both sit on the bottom bunk, hunched over the book. As Henry Jack pages through, a sentence about wounds catches my eye. Hey, I say, wait a minute. That says never use hydrogen peroxide on a fresh cut. Well, I'm pretty sure that last night they used it on Queenie Grace's trunk after she broke the window to eat my peanuts. Jeez, says Henry Jack. They need to read this book. He flips through a few more pages and gets to a section about burns. Iodine, he says. We need this stuff called iodine. Where can we find that? George's Pharmacy, Henry Jack says. They have everything. George's Pharmacy is inside a small brick building just down the street. Shelves of antique medicine bottles lines the walls as decoration, and there's an old-fashioned soda fountain. George himself is behind the counter, which comes up to my knees. George is a small man, a very little person. Hey, hey, he says in a nasally voice. Mr. Henry Jack, what can I do for you? We need iodine, replies Henry Jack, for a little burn on a big elephant. Oh, sorry to hear that about my sweetie Queenie Grace, George says, shaking his head, which is covered in sparse and spiky gray hair. And I still can't believe that Bill's gone. Man, what a shock. Here one minute, gone the next. I know, says Henry Jack. And this is his granddaughter, Lily. Wow, I am so sorry about your grandpa, says George. He reaches up a small and pudgy hand and I shake it. You're the spitting image of your grandma with your grandma's height. So tall and willowy with that long, beautiful hair and eyes shimmery as blueberry Kool-Aid. Plus, you have your mother's cute temples. Thanks, I say. Henry Jack snickers. George here always did have a crush on Miss Violet, he says. George waves away his words like he's swatting a fly. Okay, back to business, he says, slapping his hand on the wooden counter. So, how did Queenie Grace get burned? A bad guy, says Henry Jack. Mike or fire-eating Charlie? Wow, good guess, Henry Jack says. How'd you know? Only two bad guys I can think of, so which one was it? That's for us to know, Henry Jack says, paying for the iodine, and you to find out. And believe me, George states, handing Henry Jack his change. I will find out. I know most everything that goes on in this town, and whoever hurt that elephant is going to have to answer to me. And me, Henry Jack adds. I don't want to be left out, so I put in my 2 cents. And me, I say. Nobody deserves to be hurt, not even an elephant. That's right, darling, says George. You sure do have your grandfather's kindness, I can tell. Now you try to enjoy the holiday, okay? I nod. And maybe next time I see you two, just maybe, I'll tell you some crazy stories about that Mike and fire-eating Charlie. Not nice stories, but true stories. Why not tell us now? Henry Jack asks. It's Christmas, replies George. Not a day for those stories. Aren't more stores closed on Christmas? I ask, and George shrugs. If I closed a store, I'd be alone, except for my poor old lion Boldo, he says. This way I get to see my friends. That's the best way to spend a holiday, seeing people I like and helping them. And helping elephants, too, I say as Henry Jack tucks the bottle of iodine in the pocket of his shorts. That's right, girlie. And Mr. Henry Jack, you're looking sort of red. Make sure you don't get sunburned, okay? Queenie Grace doesn't like iodine. I don't like iodine. It burns worse than the burns. I flinch, skin, quivering. I don't like the iodine, but I do like the alligator boys taking care of me. The girl Lily stands far back, watching. She's always watching. She's always standing back, staying away. Sometimes she shakes. I can hear her breathe. It's a slight whistle, quieter than the tiger trainer's whistle. The girl has asthma. Pill had asthma too, when the dust swirled or when he was in a place with summertime flowers. I wonder if Lily will ever like me. And I wonder if I could maybe one day like the girl. Probably not. I know that some friendships are just not meant to be.